Welcome back guys, my name is Saraj Mankar and we are going with the 50,000 PC build. So for the cabinet I am going with the Cooler Master Force 500. He is having 6 fans. You can upgrade it to 6 fans. That is great thing. Yeah, for the monitor I am going with the Dell E2 2015 HHV. This is a cool monitor. This is up to 1080p. You can play any games on that at up to high 1080p settings. For the hard disk I am going with the Seagate Barracuda SV35 1TB desktop internal hard drive. This is cool. You can even though the game sizes are going so much bigger and bigger, so you want this hard disk. This is a great hard disk and faster hard disk. For the power supply I am going with the Corsair V5 650 watts PSU. This is a great power supply and this is a cheap power supply. For the processor I am going with the i3 61006 generation processor. You can play any games on that, but if you want to upgrade you can upgrade up to i5. Means you can take i7 also, but if you want to upgrade you can take i5. For the motherboard I am going with the B150M Bazooka gaming motherboard. This is a greatest and beautiful motherboard that supports i5 processor. That is great thing for the motherboard for cheap. For the RAM I am going with the DDR4 RAM 8GB DDR4 Kingston HyperX Fury Black Series 213 MHz. This is a great RAM. This is a 8GB RAM and you are getting good RAM at very low price. Well, this even though you can play high games at this Assassin's Creed, if you like Assassin's Creed series, you can play on that up to 50. No, you can play it smooth. For the graphic card, I am going with the Asus GTX 950. This is a very good graphic card. If you want to take GTX 960, that is also good, but in GTX 950 you can play 720p games up to 720p. Even though you can play 1080p at high settings, but you will get 40 to 50 frames per second. But in GTX 960 you are getting 60 fps. Even though you can play WWE 2K16, GTA 5 lover, you can play GTA 5. Assassin's Creed, you can get in Assassin's Creed 50 to 55 frames per second. And for other games like Witcher 3, all that things, Tom Clancy, The Division, you can play the games on that, and upcoming games also. So if you want to take GTX 960, you can take it. I am just telling you, in 50,000 you are getting GTX 950, very good. And for the motherboard you can support up to i7 processor. That is very good thing, and that is having 2 sockets and you are getting 4GB 2 RAMs. Means there is 8GB of RAM, but it supports 16GB of RAM, so that is great thing to you. For processor i3, you can take the i5 processor or i7, that is supporting the motherboard. But if you want to, you can play high games at that. But for the graphic card I am telling you, you should take GTX 960. That is worth for it, and you can play high settings games. Even though you want to play Far Cry Primal, Far Cry series, Far Cry 4 or whatever you want to play, you can play that games at 60 frames per second at ultra settings. And if you are GTA 5 lover, you are getting 60 to 65 frames per second on GTX 960, and in GTX 950 you are also getting 60 fps, but in high settings. You can play it on ultra settings, but you are getting 50 to 55 frames per second. You can play WWE 2K16 on very high settings on GTX 960. You are getting 45 to 50 frames per second, and you are saying the WWE 2K16 gameplay, that is that. You are getting 60 fps, but I have done the medium settings, so that is what. So hope you guys like this video. Make sure to click on subscribe button. If this video helped you, then click on like button. I want 5 likes. Please guys do that for me.